Gunner Podcast. Get up, it's the Steve Gunner Podcast.
Good day, all, and welcome to another episode of the Steve Gunter Podcast, where we discuss the steps, the strategies, and the mindset of real estate investing, tailor-made for the pro athlete. I'm your host, Steve Gunter, and it's an honor and privilege to be with you today. So, this past week, I was in Indianapolis for the NFL Combine, and boy, was it a show. Several players put on spectacular performances across the board. And because I'm a guy who really do appreciate watching speed, I particularly look forward to the 40-yard dash, where two guys ran 4.240s. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with how fast that is, here's a glance at what that kind of speed actually looks like. Here is Xavier Worthy, wide receiver out of the University of Texas. His first run, he went a 4.25, and look at this one. Look at this one. Every step, he's going like 5 yards, and he unofficially clocks in at a 4.22 and runs around the field. I mean, the entire stadium went berserk when they saw this time. And I believe it's 4.22 unofficially, but it ended up being a 4.21 officially. And so he broke the NFL Combine record. Quite extraordinary. I'm pretty sure that performance alone increased his stock going into the NFL draft. So definitely congratulations to him and to all of the guys who competed over this past week in Indy. Our toll-free number is 855-577-6773 for anyone looking to buy or sell real estate anywhere across the country. But this was actually my first time attending the Combine. And so I was really looking forward to not only watching the athletes, but also witnessing the operations surrounding it. And what was particularly interesting to me were the wealth advisors who were there and who represented guys, and their job is to help the players make smart financial decisions so that the resources they earn while playing helps them to sustain their current wealth, but also help them to build wealth over time. And so I spent a lot of time chatting with this group and understanding how they think. And I was very, very much impressed. What I gathered from our discussions was that it was important for athletes to have a diverse portfolio, a mixture of your more aggressive stocks alongside some more conservative options. And sometimes the younger you are, the more aggressive your portfolio might be. And this is, of course, sound advice that I've heard over the years and is generally advisable for most people. But if there was one glaring observation that I noticed, it was that real estate was rarely spoken about other than in the form of a primary residence. Now, perhaps this is simply because we weren't in a space where we could discuss things at length. You know, we were oftentimes around a lot of people and at dinners and at bars, and a lot of people are talking. And so it's really difficult to kind of get into those sorts of conversations. But perhaps it was also because, you know, real estate isn't a liquid asset. It can't be converted to cash as quickly as, say, a stock or bonds, and that is the advantage of liquid assets, I must say. But what I can definitively say is that they cared about doing what was in the best interest of their guys. And I absolutely love that. And to that end, I want to put forward some practical reasons as to why real estate should, in fact, be discussed more regularly when it comes to building out a wealth portfolio for the pro athlete. Hey guys, quick interruption. If you're currently looking to buy or sell real estate anywhere across the country, we can help. We have partners who have been vetted and are absolute pros. I mean, they know their stuff. You can give us a call on our toll free number at 855 577 6773, or you can reach us at guntergroupnc.com. That's guntergroupnc.com. Now back to the show. Point number one. In real estate, you have more direct control over the performance of the asset. You can improve the property. We call this forced appreciation, where you make improvements to the kitchen, improvements to the bathrooms, and perhaps some other features to help elevate the property's value, therefore renting it or even selling it for more. You don't have that level of control over a stock, a bond, or a mutual fund like you do with real estate. You can drive by the house, you can drive by the building, you can walk through it, you can get a feel for how things are going. So that is one particular point that is important to note. But you can also use leverage. And this is point number two, which can significantly amplify returns. If you only have tens of thousands in the deal and the bank puts in hundreds of thousands, but when you sell that property and make considerably more than what you invested, then we call that a good deal. And that is the power that leverage gives you. But then you also have the ability to borrow from your equity position in the property through a cash out refinance. And we talk about that strategy considerably in episode 2 with my good friend Terry Summers. So I encourage you to dive into that episode when you get a chance. But you use a cash out refinance in order to then go and purchase another property. At that point, you really begin to accelerate the wealth building process. So, in theory, you can increase your unit count that much faster. This is a strategy that is pretty much used by the vast majority of savvy real estate investors. They're generally not saving money through traditional means in order to acquire their next asset. Oftentimes, they're borrowing from one of their properties in order to then go and purchase another property. Now, a word of caution on that, though. Sometimes people get over leveraged by borrowing too heavily, which puts them in a bad spot financially. So, this is where you may want to consider having someone in your corner who can guide you and help you make good decisions along the way, who perhaps has a lot of experience in rental properties and in taking that approach to acquiring more properties. Point number three, and this is one of the primary benefits to owning real estate, which is it has the potential to generate rental income. This is what attracts most investors to this asset class, the steady stream of income. And depending upon how large your operations become, that rental portfolio could, in fact, replace your earned income altogether. 855 577 6773 is our toll free number for anyone looking to buy or sell real estate anywhere across the country. Now, to be clear, because I don't want to mislead anyone on this too, uh, that does not automatically always happen. The property must be managed well, right? And preferably by a reputable management company. Trust me when I tell you that you don't have the time to manage a property, meaning you don't have the time to manage just one property, right? Find a good management company. And if you have a real estate portfolio advisor on your team, they will be able to interview companies and put this in place for you. Point number 4 is natural appreciation. Real estate often appreciates over time. If you did nothing and the market goes up, this is called appreciation. It's actually how the vast majority of people make money in real estate. They make no improvements. Maybe they don't even keep up with the maintenance on the property. I don't recommend that, but it's what most people do. But when they go to sell the property, it's worth more than what they bought it for. My good friend Jason Koscheck, author of the real estate book Plug the Holes, Fill the Barrel, calls this magic money, right? The money just suddenly appears. You didn't have to do anything to make it happen. It just happened. Now, is it possible for real estate to be worth less than what a person paid for it? Absolutely, right? Just like all other asset classes. But what you have learned so far is that at least you still have control over how to improve its value. And more importantly, over time, real estate always performs well. So the upside is positive. But we can't leave here without also talking about real estate's tax advantages. You can deduct the mortgage interest payments, operating expenses, depreciation of the property. You could also receive favorable capital gains tax treatment depending upon the length of time you held on to the property. But then you may decide to defer those taxes by taking those profits from the sale of one property and using a 1031 exchange to purchase another property of equal to higher value. So the wealth acceleration opportunity in real estate is extraordinary. That's our show for today. Thank you so much for listening and following this podcast. If it's giving you any value, I hope you would share it with a friend. And until next time, be good.
You can't stop, we can't lose, you can't win if you snooze. So do more and say less. So get up and let's work and be the best. Yeah, you're tuned in to the Steve Gunner Podcast. Yeah, the Steve Gunner Podcast. You're tuned in to the Steve Gunner Podcast. Get up, it's the Steve Gunner Podcast.